Now we are done with the Henian school. In the Henian school, we studied about the Vibhasic ones and the Sotantric ones. The Vibhasic were the realists, Sotantric were the idealists. We have already discussed about them. Now, how exactly Henian thought, they were like that we are going to get our own nirvana. We are going to become Arhat ourselves. We are going to become Buddha ourselves. That was their goal. The next school that we have is Mahayan. Mahayan were like that we have the bigger yarn. We are going to make everyone liberated, and then we are going to get ourselves liberated. We're going to help everyone else as well. So there was the Heenyan and there was the Mahayan. Now, because of this so tantric school, the first school of Mahayan was a criticism of the so tantric school, and it was Vijnanvad. The another is Nagarjun's Shunyavad. Nagarjun gave the Shunyavad, and we have Vigyanvad. Vigyanvad, many scholars came, Asang Maitriyanath, but we are going to study about Vasubandhu in it. We are going to study about the Lankan Sutra that Vasubandhu gave. Yes, it is the Lankan Sutra. It is related to Ravana. I don't know the exact mythology around it, but that's not even in our syllabus. But Vasubandhu gave it. Now the Vigyan Bad, Vigyan. Vigyan is ideas. Simple. Now, it came as a criticism of the Sotantric school. How exactly it came as a criticism of Sotantric school? Sotantric said that the external objects, the bottle for example, they believe that these external objects, they believed in Bahya Anumevad. These external objects help us infer things. They believe that they are truth and they help us infer things, and they were, that is the reason they were idealists. They believe in the Bahya Anumevad, right? But the Vigyanvadin said that ideas are the only thing that are true. The external objects are not true. We are going to talk about Vasubandhu. Vasubandhu says that everything in this world that we see, the external world, is false. It's not true. So they also said, they gave an example of the dream state. Like in the dream state, there is no external object. So how are you inferring things? Dear so tantric, how are you inferring things in the dream state? So this is what the Vigyanvadin criticized. This is how the Vigyanvadin talked about their theory of ideas. In the Henian school, we have studied about the Nirvana, how exactly there was the Pratitya Aprati Sankhya Nirodh and Prati Sankhya Nirodh. We studied about Prati Sankhya Nirodh and Aprati Sankhya Nirodh. Prati Sankhya Nirodh through Pragya, we can get the Nirvana, and Aprati Sankhya Nirodh, we can get the Nirvana by living our lives, bearing all the fruits, and then finally we are going to get the Nirvana. So that's what we studied in the Henian. Mahayan also talked about Nirvana. They talked about the two kind of Nirvana. One is positive and the other is negative. So the how will the negative nirvana happen? Negative nirvana happen that you're going to go through the sufferings, you're going to go through the bondage, and then you're going to get the nirvana. The positive nirvana will be the kind of the nirvana when you're going to get the, when you're going to know the highest reality. You won't be able to talk about that reality. You might have heard about the people who are enlightened, and uh, even now there are many people who claim to be enlightened, and when they are asked that how exactly you felt, then they said that I cannot describe it. uh, the words in the grammar are not present to describe that feeling. So this is Vaivadan Nirvana, you cannot describe it. So when you're going to know this highest reality, you won't be able to describe it. That will be the one kind of nirvana, that will be called Vaivadhan nirvana. Another kind of nirvana will be when you're not going to get when all of your sufferings will be over, when all your bondages will be over, then you're going to get one kind of nirvana, and that will be known as sanklesh. So with suffering, either sanklesh or with vaivadhan, this is how you can get the nirvana according to Vijnanvadans. Now we talked about the enlightenment, and when you're going to know the highest reality. What is this highest reality? Highest reality is Alya Vigyan. Alya Vigyan. Alya means home. So when you're going to know, and Vigyan is the ideas. So the home of the ideas is Alya Vigyan. This Alya Vigyan, Vigyan Vadans used to explain it about the ideas, about the world, about attribute, about mind, everything they explain it through this Alya Vigyan. This is the highest reality. This is the cause of everything. This is the womb. This is like that contains all the seed, that contain the seed of all ideas. This Alya Vigyan is the true Vigyan that is present in this world. Now, talking about the external objects, when they were asked that the external objects are not true, that how do you explain this world? So through Alya Vigyan only they're going to explain this world. How? Through Alya Vigyan this world happened. Now, so they said that first there is first the first thing that came is Alya Vigyan. So from in this Alya Vigyan, because it's the mother, okay, that contains that will have all the seeds. So all the ideas are existing here. All the ideas are here. In the Alya Vigyan, all the ideas are existing here. All the ideas are here. Now, once you're done with these ideas, now the ideas are originated. Now these ideas are projected outside in the form of different object. The trees, the ocean. The ideas have been projected outside as the external objects, and these external objects are all unreal or illusion. Just stay with me. You're going to understand everything. So, Alya Vigyan, all the seeds are present here. So, it's going to collect all the ideas. All the seeds are here. And in the course of time and in the favorable condition, it is going to project these ideas as ocean, as trees, as birds, as humans, as bottle, as pen. Okay, it's going to project them in the course of time. Now, the ideas are projected. Now, after this, what is originate? This is the first step. Now, the second step will be after Alya Vigyan, the Manas is originated. And this is known as Klisht Vigyan. Because from here the sufferings will start. Because of this Manas, the sufferings have started. After Manas is created, first there is Alya Vigyan, then Manas, and after the Manas has been created, there will be Pravritti Vigyan. Pravarti Vigyan. Now, this Pravarti Vigyan, they are six in number. Okay. Now, what is this Pravriti Vigyan? Pravriti. Okay. Now, what are these six? The six senses. Okay. What are the six senses? So it is the five senses are there, and the sixth is the man. The different one is the man. And in this they said that, there are the pravritti vigyan, which are six in number. So, and everyone has their one subject, and each subject is known by one sense. For example, uh, the subject of chakshu vigyan, the subject of chakshu vigyan is roop. The subject of chakshu vigyan will be roop. Then of the nose it will be smell, gran vigyan. Then then of the ear it will be shabd or the shrot vigyan. You're going to hear the shabd, right? So it's shrot vigyan. Then from the tongue it will be rasan vigyan. From the skin it will be twak vigyan. And the last is from the chetan, it will be manovigyan. This one is the internal sense organ. So this is the pravritti vigyan. So he said that only ideas are true. The truth is only the alya vigyan. Then manas is created, and then the pravritti vigyan is created. Obviously, he was criticized for this theory. Shankar came. Shankar said that you're saying that there are no external objects. So Shankar gave three things. Shankar said, okay, so you are saying that the external objects do not exist, and all that are true are the ideas. So he said that first, he said that it is first criticism was na bhavo uplabdhi. If the external objects are not true, so the bhav must not come when you see a lion. You must not be scared. So the bhav uplabdhi should not be there if the external objects are not true. Another thing that he said, that is na abhavo uplabdhi. That means we don't know the object. There's a relation between the object and the ideas. If the ideas are not there, ideas cannot be originated without objects. Objects are important for the ideas. And the third is na swapna dhevat. In the dream state, when you are dreaming, you are you only dream of the things that you have seen before. Usually the objects are there. And how do you explain that, how do you explain the dreams? Shankar asked them. So these are the criticism: na bhavo uplabdhi, na abhavo uplabdhi, and na swap. So these are the three things: na bhavo uplabdhi, na abhavo uplabdhi, and the na swapna dhevat. So these are the three criticism of the Shankara against these Vijnanvadan. Okay. So another thing, against the Sotantrik also used the example of Vijnanvadins also used the example of the dream state, as I said, against the Sotantrik, and Shankar also used it against the Sotantrik in a very different manner. So we studied about the Alya Vigyan, we have studied about the Nirvana, how exactly we're going to get the Nirvana, and how exactly the everything is created. One thing that I did not discuss is the Lankan Sutra. Lankan Sutra, in the Lankan Sutra that was given by Vasubandhu, he said that how the external objects are unreal. There's a difference. You have to understand that what when he's using the word unreal, he is not saying that, the external objects are just not existing. When he's saying the word unreal, he's not saying that the external objects are not existing, or whatever is appearing doesn't exist. He's not questioning the existence. He's saying that these external objects, they just bear the reality for the intersubjectivity, that we are able to see what is right. We are able to see this apple in a certain way, but it might be a illusion. It's not the reality that I'm seeing, it's unreal. Like in the Matrix movie, it's not important what they are seeing is real. The reality is only Vigyan. Rest everything is unreal. You have to understand this. You will understand it in a better manner through the Lankan Sutra. In the Lankan Sutra, three things he said. Lankan Sutra is something very difficult to understand, but we don't have to go in much detail. And we most of the philosophers won't be able to tell you this. It's a complete sutra, but while writing for the examination, we can just write a few points. So the first point will be the whatever the external objects that we are seeing, we don't see the object, we see the attributes of the object, we see the qualities of the objects. I see the apple, I see the qualities of it. I talk about the qualities of it. I see a rose, I see the qualities of it. Then I name it. It's red, it has thorns. I see the qualities of it. So we don't have any contact with objects. Then how can we accept, that they are real? We are only seeing the attributes. So we cannot accept them as real. Second thing that he said, he gave a theory of the part and the whole. In the part and the whole theory, he said, how can you talk about an object? How do you see an object? If I see an apple, how do I see it? I can see it as a I see it because this apple is different from the surrounding, and that is the reason I'm able to see it. So this is an apple. Anything you can describe as a part and a whole. In the part and the whole, he said about four things. First thing is, both of them are different. If the part is different from the whole, then real cannot be created from unreal. So if they are different, so there will be a problem of real and unreal. Second is, they are not different. So if we are going to accept that the part is not different from the whole, then how I'm going to make it? They will be identical. Third is, they are both different and not different. Then it will be a contradictory thing. It will be like light and dark, both different and not different. Third is, they are not both. So we cannot think of anything to give an example of this. So that is the reason he said that the external objects are just unreal. They are not real. First, he talked about the attributes and part whole, and third thing, he talked about the atoms. They said that, okay, you are saying that the smallest unit of this particular object is atom. Vasubandhu said that I do not accept this atom as real. How exactly do you accept this atom as real? You are saying this is atom, but the part cannot be there. It must have some parts. It cannot be partless. If it is partless, we cannot see it. If it is not partless, then where does it stop? How is it created? So atoms If it will become partless, then you won't be able to perceive it. So in order to perceive it, maybe the external objects are just a way of perceiving them. That is how we perceive them, but they are not the way they seem to be. They are unreal. So he rejects atom also. Shunyavad that we are going to study, Shunyavad is also based upon this, that but even Shunyavad talks about the relative Shunya. Everything is relatively unreal. But Vasubandhu directly says that no, not relative, everything is unreal. Vasubandhu, he is not saying that nothing in our appearance, that whatever appears, a bottle appears or a apple appear, that it doesn't exist. He's saying that mere appearances bear all the reality that we need. Bear all the reality that we need for intersubjectivity to know the things. Okay, like modern physicists, modern scientists say that this world is because of the neurons. Our brain perceive this world in a certain manner. So that's how Vasubandhu speaks about the unreality of the world. See, what is Buddhism? It's a really beautiful philosophy, and the things that they are giving, the things that they are talking, is at a time when Western philosophy wasn't even originated. And the things that we are going to study in Berkeley, we are going to study many great philosophers, and later also many great philosophers come, but none of them can match the Buddhist philosophy, which is really old. So Vasubandhu talked about the unreality that is present. So this is the Lankan Sutra of the Vasubandhu. We have talked about the Alya Vigyan, and how we are going to get nirvana in this particular Vijnanvada, and how they believe that ideas are true.